I was thinking back, man, when I was a kid, and though I started off patriotic because I'm from a family that fought Nazis during World War II, white family, white Caucasian family. Then I have a dad who, though he was never, ever around, I saw him like one time, actually 2 times in my lifetime. He never bought my mother, sister, or me anything ever. When I was in Chicago, he bought me like $20 worth of airtime. So in my lifetime, my dad spent about $20 on me. Never anything more than $20 on his son. Nothing, no food or anything. So he was in war, Vietnam, and was in South Korea stationed. There was not a war there. When he was there, he wasn't there for the Korean War. He's not that old. My uncles were there. And I have 2 cousins who are actually Korean American adoptees. And and I also know a gentleman, friend, and someone who he was picked up off the battlefield by an American GI, and then he ended up graduating from West Point as an adult when he was adopted by an American GI who picked him up off the battlefield when he, the gentleman I know, was covered with soot in the rubble of the Korean War. So, I was always patriotic, and still am to this day, very patriotic. There was a time when I was a teenager, man, and I was a rebel skateboarder, and I had an anarchy symbol on my skateboard, because when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, I'm an outlaw skateboarder, because the cops are beating me down on a daily basis with my skateboard crew, gang, friends, and the cops fucking hate us, and they want to run over our skateboards and snap them in half, and tell us that we're fucking antisocial, and that we're, pieces of shits, and we'll never go anywhere in life, shit that cops do who are dirty cops. Not all cops are bad. But when I was a kid, I was like, man, fuck these cops, man. So that was the mentality that I had. Plus my mother, she dated a lot of dudes in the military that they just didn't know how to take care of kids, man. And they were also cheaters. So, seeing that, I was like, oh, military men cheating on my mom, just like my dad did, right? People pretending like they're not married and shit like that. My mother even dated a Navy SEAL. Guess what? He was married too. So, just like looking at men in the military and then law enforcement back in the 80s and shit. Because when you're a kid, man, you meet Officer Friendly and he's like, hi, I'm Officer Friendly. Hi, Officer Friendly. The whole class says, yeah, you guys know Smokey the Bear, right? You're like, yeah, I know Smokey the Bear. And then he's like, yeah, well, I'm Officer Friendly. Kind of like Smokey the Bear. If you have a problem in your neighborhood, you can talk to me about it. Then, you realize when LA gangs are on the move that, you're a fucking gang member because you live in a neighborhood and you're wearing an Oakland, Raiders, jacket or a ball cap or Oakland A's or some shit, and the police are going to beat you up and they're going to put you in a gang database, and now you're an enemy of the fucking state. So back when I was young, man, I was like, yo, fuck this system. This shit is stupid, man. I'm against it.
Red light camera reported ahead.
Yeah, I know Waze, computers, Siri, HAL, fucking AI. There are red light cameras everywhere. You know why? Because it's an Orwellian society that we live in now. George Jetson, future utopia, yay! Smokey the Bear, Officer Friendly. But then, after fucking school, man, when I went back to college and shit, because I had to honor my family. So I was like, yo, I gotta go to college. Man, I've been wilding out in these streets, man, but, shit, I'm a straight A student whenever I want to be, so I went and got my 3.4 GPA at, shit, was I still smoking weed then? I was just fucking gangbang. Was I? Yeah, I was in the streets, yeah. I was gangbanging. Went and got my 3.4 GPA in electronics engineering, and got involved in computer information systems, IT. I was always involved in IT since I was a kid. But I was like, yo, let me do this formally. It's going to be easy for me to do. Because, when I just want to, walk away from the, gang life, I'm still, a straight A student whenever I want to be. So, the point is, man, is the more I was in college and the more that I was, studying and like researching and like being like fit and like cross-trained up, hitting the gym and like doing normal shit, the more I was like kindling like my roots, like revisiting like how things were when I was like a kid. So I was like, yo, hold up, man. So fuck, I've never been a sex offender. I've never been an arsonist who sets little old ladies on fire with gasoline. I've never done any fucked up shit like that. So man, shit. Plus I saw this video on YouTube called Gangs in the Military. And I was like, yo, man, when I was on the streets, I was never doing fucked up shit like some of these dudes who got into the military. I was drinking brew, smoking fucking weed with the homies. You know, I mean, we did jack moves and shit. I'm saying pulled licks, but I mean, fuck, dude, we weren't fucking rapists or child molesters or sex offenders. And we most certainly didn't set little old ladies on fire with gasoline. Plus, man, it's really sad. The war of attrition, man. A lot of, fatalities and casualties, man, in the different, different theaters of war, man. Afghanistan, global war on terror, post 9/11, man, the Gulf, Persian, Gulf War 1 and 2. So, Iraq and all kinds of shit around the world, man. I have a cousin who was in the Balkans. He saw the atrocities of Milosevic. He was in the U.S. Army. And, man, he saw families that have been slaughtered, okay, chopped up, hacked up with machetes, and bodies like piled up, okay, from Slobodan Milosevic and what he did over in like Yugoslavia and the Balkans and whatnot, right? So my cousin, my white Caucasian cousin, he was there in the aftermath of it all and saw, and there were like bodies like littered all over the place, right? And there were children who were still alive hiding under the dead bodies of their parents and relatives and friends, where soldiers, the genocidalists, the people doing the ethnic cleansing, would come by with the machetes periodically and stab at the already dead bodies to make sure that everyone was fucking dead in these body piles. Yet, nonetheless, there would be children and others who were somehow still alive, and so they escaped the carnage. My cousin saw that shit on eyes on the ground in the U.S. military. He's a school teacher in Japan now. He doesn't want to have anything to do with war or armed conflict ever again for the rest of his life. He's married, he has children, and he's a school teacher in Japan. He was a soldier in the U.S. military, and he exited the military honorably. And he said he didn't want to have anything to do. He says he doesn't want to have anything to do with armed military conflict ever again, man. After seeing that shit, it fucking horrified his mind, traumatized him, dude, forever. And I can understand that. So, a lot of shit like that, PTSD, man. So they started to let people in, man, who had checkered backgrounds and shit, drug deals and shit, explosives charges. So after 9/11, man, I became a U.S. government contractor because I felt as if, though I was wilding out on the streets and I had some run-ins with some local cops that were just dickheads and shit, neo-Nazi fucking Gestapo wannabe types, just trying to be all like, Heil Hitler type shit. I was like, yo, I'm still a U.S. American patriot, man. I'm not the skateboard rebel that I used to be. Like, I'm about defending America, man, and our way of life. So I went back to school. I got my certifications, man. And I joined up with the U.S. government as a U.S. intel contractor. On the side, I rap, man, for entertainment and for, it's for entertainment purposes only, and also edutainment, infotainment, as you see, I also do. And I actually tie it into my defense contracting that I do as well. So it's really all part of the same activity, man. I'm One Sir Grove. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide.